Yo, yo, yo. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kick-Ass Podcast. I had to make sure my mic was not muted. Let me know if you can hear me okay. What up, what up? What's up, Fernando? What up, E? What up, guys? Let me know. Maria. What up, Maria? I was just about to say once I got through the part about letting me know if you can hear me with the audio okay. Um, if anyone had seen you or heard from you, rather, like if you'd seen you rather on any streams or anything, just make sure you're okay out there, Maria. So I appreciate you popping in. Appreciate you popping in for sure. And good to see you're okay. Hope all is well. But again, what up, Fernando? What up, E? Definitely have a lot to talk about. Today's show, I'm going to try to keep it focused though. I came across this really cool thread on Twitter X that I wanted to take a look at. And I think it kind of ties in pretty well with the backlash that apparently is taking over some portions of the IWC, right? As the infamous IWC, with in regards to CM Punk, and not even just him specifically, but CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins main eventing night one of WrestleMania. Gotta assume it's night one at this point, right? There's no way Cena and Cody rather are going to be on night one unless there's like some scheduling conflict, which I highly doubt for Cena. So we're going to take a look at that. The thread I was referring to related to Punk specifically is kind of a brief overview of his run in AEW from the night he debuted all the way. It looks like I didn't read it word for word yet, but I kind of skimmed it, and they have some clips on there as well. I don't know if I can show the clips. They're like I think all less than a minute. I don't know. I don't want to get like copyright stricter like strikes or anything like that. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to play like the video clips themselves, but I'll try to play the audio at least. I'll kind of remove it from the screen and we'll go from there. And shit, if I find out if I get that old notification from YouTube, hey, I learned my lesson, right? But well, and that's kind of how I am. I'll figure shit out as I go along here. But yeah, definitely want to talk about that and see what you guys think too about CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania night. And again, we're just gonna stick with it being night one. I don't even know which stream it was, but there's a stream that I did within the past week or so, I would imagine, if not just the previous stream regarding him main eventing. I think it had to be before, maybe I think it was actually the last one I did, the Smackdown preview one. So with him main eventing the triple threat main eventing night one and it not being the title match, I'm pretty certain I'd even stated in that show that I because I was kind of under the assumption that this wasn't going to main event, to be honest with you guys. I didn't really put too much thought into it, but I just assumed that Jay and Gunther were going to main event, or maybe the women's match would, which we'll get into here in a second. But in that regard, I think some people are just being, saying shit just to say shit. So with that, I'm just like, whatever, So we're going to get into that first, and then we're going to dive into AEW and CM Punk and that relationship. And no, I think I definitely want to take like an in-depth look at the whole like the actual episodes and the timeline leading up to, which I guess is kind of will be as well, leading up to the brawl out, right? The media scrum that was, and just kind of looking back on it with what 3 years, 4 years, 3 years at this point, hindsight 2020 type shit, right? And just really take a look at, man, like if Tony Khan would have interrupted here, if he would have done this, maybe this would have happened, or maybe we could have gotten this, or maybe CM Punk would even still be in AEW, which I'm not advocating for, but it's just wild to see how the past 5 years have gone. So we'll definitely take a look at that. But yeah, so just kind of a brief overview of what we're going to chat about. And I am still battling like a weird cold. Trying to prevent that. So we'll go as long as I can, to be honest with you guys. I don't feel terrible, but just the longer I talk, the worse my voice gets and like that itch. So I don't want to be over here hacking up a longer or coughing into the mic or anything for you guys. But what up, Jesse? What up, man? What up? Appreciate you popping in, my friend. Oh, we're okay, Maria. No, shit, family first, man. Of course. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything is going better and your family is okay. But yeah, man, I hope you're I hope your family is good, and thank you for popping in. I appreciate that. But yeah, I was thinking about you earlier. I was like, man, I have to bring it up on the stream and see if anyone has seen you in some any other streams or anything like that. But we're gonna get right into it because, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be able to go, and I don't want to, belabor the point. But I do want to know too, if you guys, I am not even low key. I am obsessed with true crime as well. So I have, especially one case in particular, Karen Reed. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Out in Boston, out from Boston, Massachusetts. Her retrial is coming up this week, the April 1st, rather. I believe that's Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Tuesday. So I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Me and Sai, shout out Sai, love that guy. If he pops in, appreciate it. I know it's kind of late over there now, but if you're watching a replay too, but I've been debating on chatting about that, and I'm not gonna do it tonight here. Maybe tomorrow, if I'm able to get a stream, or maybe after it starts, maybe like a Thursday or sometime this week rather. But I have a lot to say about it, and I don't know where you guys sit on that, so I don't want to mesh that into a stream like this, rather. You know what I mean? Like where it's a twofer. I kind of want to just dedicate that, and what I want to do also is watch the ID documentary on it. It's called A Body in the Snow, I believe. The case versus Karen Reed or something to that effect. Trust me, if you have HBO or Max or whatever it is, just search Karen Reed. It's probably still even on the homepage or one of the first ones that you can see, or like one of the like newly added or recommended or some shit like that. I'm thinking about, not even thinking, I'm gonna watch that, but I'm thinking about doing a stream here on that and just kind of get some of my thoughts out, just because it's eating at me. So, and I would love to know if any of you guys listen to that, or not listen to that, but if any of you guys are into stuff like that and watch any true crime stuff, or I hate even calling it true crime, but any, like, I guess that's the best fitting true crime, right? The best fitting description for it. Or if there's any other cases that you guys watch or anything like that, or you guys just don't even entertain that stuff. If you just kind of just stick to sports or whatever, let me know. But like I said, it'll definitely be its own dedicated stream because I don't want to, convolute stream, for instance, like CM Punk, and then jump into something completely different. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think, definitely. Yo, what up, Sean? What up? What up? I appreciate you so much, my friend. You say, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I truly appreciate that. It definitely is helping grow the show. It definitely does, because I've always been one of those like, does it really? But it does, because what it does is, what I'm learning is, you can build like a little bank here, and then you can dedicate like a fund to it or whatever, and then you can put like, you can buy like songs for the show, or you can invest in it for like different graphics and stuff like that. I can just invest into the show, which is what I want to do long term. I do want to end up taking this a little bit more seriously. Nothing like, like quitting my job or nothing like that, but I mean, that'd be cool, right? But long term, I do want to make this as crisp and as I don't want to say professional, but legit as it can look, right? And clear up the visual of it as well. So I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you. I'm thankful for you, man. Thankful for you and all you've done for me and my little channel here. Um, but yeah, Maria, of course, no thanks needed. Of course, I'm thankful for you, man. For Maria, you said, I think Rhea versus Bianca versus Io should main event night one, in my opinion. Cool. Thank you for your opinion, Maria. I appreciate that, because I do obviously want to start with that, because that'll segue into the latter portion with Punk being in AEW as well. But yeah, Fernando, his dream finally came true, and we'll start with that. And that's a great comment there, Fernando. So thanks for that. It did, man. And starting, we'll use this past Friday night as a launching pad for that. The emotion, man. I don't know. I don't know if it was, fake, or if he, was thinking of something else, or if he was really that emotional to get those tears going, man, and to have like the swelling and the red eyes and stuff like that. But it really hit me, man. And I don't think so, because right before it wasn't like he was emotional coming out or anything like that. He was regular Punk, you know what I mean? And we even saw him backstage, which I fucking loved. I gotta put, I don't know if I won't be able to share it, because if I know WWE will be about that, but man, about that copyright life. But because they tried it with the Rumble watch along, but we won. But man, I know you guys saw it, and I think I posted it either on my Kickash podcast Twitter page. So shout out to that. Follow me there if you'd like, or it was on my personal page. But the clip of him walking backstage with I think it was like 3 or 4 security guards, and Drew McIntyre had just gotten oh my god, it was by Damian Priest, just south of heaven through the windshield. Yo, I didn't even think about it at first. My first thought when Punk was walking by was, oh, he's just happy that it was Drew. And then as I sat there and thought about it, I was like, yo, wait a second. And it busted out laughing, bro. So every time I see it now, that clip, it just I laugh. I probably watched it 10 times at this point. Because we all know what it is, right? So, and actually, it's a nice segue or a little tie-in to what we'll talk about here afterwards with him being in AEW. But the whole Jack Perry, look real glass, cry me a river bullshit that happened in London as well, which I think is just so apropos. Like, there's no way that spot happened just by happenstance and just by coincidence, man. There's no way. Like, yes, they have been doing the whole backstage brawl type thing and the whole car destruction thing and just destruction in general, right? We saw it with Jade Cargill, something very similar. But the fact that it was Drew McIntyre set in the setup scene was right as Punk was walking out. Punk looks at it, just gets as he's walking up, and before we can even see what he's looking at, he just gets the most shit eating grin and smirk on his face, bro. And I it made it so great because if you know, you know, right? And that's immediately once I realized, like, once he, like, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds afterwards, was like, yo, start dying, busted a laughing, man. But yeah, I just love it because there's no fucking way that was just coincidence. They all had a hand in that, and it was a win-win, right? And then you can put your hands and be like, it had nothing to do with AEW. It was a play on of the Punk and McIntyre feud from last year, right? Which was my first thought, and I was like, oh, that's a very well done and cool segue. But then once I thought about it, I was like, yo, bravo, man, fucking bravo, because I live for the pettiness, man. I live for the pettiness of Punk, especially, but the little things like that, I just love. Oh, but yeah, so getting back to SmackDown, they had, of course, the contract signing. I love the layout of the contract signing itself. I love how we had Roman Reigns at the head of the table, per usual. His wise man Paul Heyman sitting right beside him. Seth was out there. Seth was sticking to the same shtick. He's livid that CM Punk is involved in this, and especially once it was revealed that it's going to be the main event. That I almost feel like Seth is going to sabotage it before it happens. Which, if I had to put money down, I don't think that's actually going to happen. But wouldn't it be something if all the backlash that they got from the women not main eventing, that they use that into, oh no, that was gonna happen the whole time, and Seth sabotage the three of them for main eventing night one, and it does end up being like they have, like, for instance, like on when night one starts, right? Go through the openings and all that, singing of the national anthem, whatever. Pyro goes off. Then there's a brawl happening backstage, and it's the three of them. And instead of main eventing, these guys can't contain themselves backstage, so they're gonna go on first. They got to start the show off. And instead of Gunther and Jay starting the show off, they're gonna be propelled to the main event, or not even the main event. They may not even reference that, because they don't normally say what's gonna start the show. We just normally know what's gonna main event, which is generally the Rumble winners. But whatever, we'll get to that in a second. But you can at least kind of keep that, oh shit, like anything can happen type feeling too vibe. Put those guys in the opening show, and Roman will be able to get in, get on, get off, and get out type thing, right? And then beyond, probably back home before the show ends, the women can main event night one. It solves a lot of issues. There's that. However, I will say a couple things. I'm obviously super fucking happy for Punk that he's getting to live his dream, right? He's main eventing WrestleMania, all that. I'm obviously happy, right? I mean, big CM Punk fan here. I don't know how I feel about it not being a singles match for the championship, though. And I'm kind of like, I kind of don't even know how to feel about me feeling that way. But going into SmackDown, I don't know, like, I was still under the impression that I didn't even really think about the match order, to be honest with you. Like, I just thought about this match kind of being a good thing, right? And being a good holding place until we do get Punk into the title scene and possibly at WrestleMania next year, or a singles match with him and Roman. I went through all that on the live show, so I'm not going to rehash that. But I never even really thought about a main eventing night one until find out that it did, right? Now, the fact of both Royal Rumble winners, and I think I saw that in the chat. Yeah, Jesse. Shout out again to you, Jesse. You said Rumble lost its meaning. Neither match with the winners is even being talked about main eventing. Yes, this is where I do come in as another point of not because I'm kind of twofold, right? Like I get why they're having the triple threat match main event night one, but I don't think it should. I really, and I get kind of both arguments, like both sides of the argument, so I'll kind of go back and forth there. But an argument for the reason and the side that it shouldn't, right? Which is just what Jesse is bringing up here. Neither of the winners of the Royal Rumble match are being talked about or even main eventing WrestleManias, right? And when you say it like that and you break it down like that, that's fucking absurd. We have two WrestleMania nights, right? Saturday and Sunday now. You have two Royal Rumble matches, one for the men's, one for the women's. Been doing this since what, 2018 now? Now, to be fair, and I feel like I have a little bit of a place to say. I don't think the women should main event one of the nights just because. Okay, I don't think just because they're women, right? Like they that should be just like a gimme into the main event of night one or night two for that matter. I think whatever the story is and whatever is the strongest story should main event both nights, right? Like the top two matches that you have by definition should main event, right? And ideally that would be two or one of or two of the championship matches going into it, right? Whether it's both of the men's singles world heavyweight championships or if it's one of the men's and then one of the women's. So in the past, yes, for instance, like when it was Becky Lynch and where it should have been Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, WrestleMania 35, 100% that they should have main evented that WrestleMania, right? And it still should have been a singles match. I don't care what anyone says, you know. Oh, it's just still frustrating. But so there. So I'm not saying that the women should main event just because. And sorry, Maria, but I think like because you mentioned earlier, you said that you think Rhea, Bianca, and Io should main event night one. In your opinion, I wish I could say that too. I don't think. Okay, one step back between the if we're comparing Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton versus the Rio, Bianca, and Io match, 100%. This one should main event when you're comparing the two women's uh, title matches, right? I just with what the route that they've taken with Rhea lately, and I say that specifically because Rhea is such a star, dude. Like Rhea is such a force in the women's division. If things are 100% on track with her in booking wise, not what she does because she's fucking fantastic, right? It's one of those the booking kind of kind of or not even kind of the booking is impacting the character more than it probably should, and I'll dissect that. So Rhea going into whatever what was it, how long ago now? 3 weeks ago on Raw when she was the women's champion, before maybe even a month ago now. I mean, it wasn't the best, right? But she beat Liv, and the whole idea was it was going to be Rhea obviously defending her championship at WrestleMania against not the winner of the Royal Rumble because Charlotte chose Tiffany Stratton, but the winner of the Elimination Chamber, which is ended up being Bianca, which I still felt kind of weird about, but whatever. I talked myself out of it. That led us to Rhea and Io. I think it was the very next Raw, defending Rhea defending her championship, right? And I liked too that when Rhea and Bianca were staring each other down at the Elimination Chamber right after Bianca won, Io came out like, yo, don't forget about me type thing, and it's not a given. So I loved all that. And I'm not even terribly mad at them pulling the trigger and taking the title off of Rhea. I still, because it's easier, like I said before, it's easier to find a way to insert Rhea into this match than it would have been to insert Io, right? If Io's not already the champion. So I kind of get the conundrum they were in that situation. You know, I don't like what they've been doing with Rhea after the fact, though. I don't. I thought it was kind of comical, right? Like her going in there and just inserting herself on the contract and just, making her own line. I thought that was kind of funny, but it doesn't hold up, right? And I do appreciate the fact that um, Adam Pearce didn't just be like, okay, yeah, you signed your name on a contract, yeah, I guess you're in. Because then shit, I'll do that. You know what I mean? Like, catch me at backstage signing my name on the contract. But I just, that's not the Rhea that we've known. That's not the Rhea that was the badass Rhea who had all this anger and vitriol against Dominic and against Liv Morgan, right? So and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, like you mean to tell me that she was that mad at Dom and that mad at Rhea or that mad at Liv, and we saw this version of her, this badass version and all this stuff. She finally regained the championship. She's good to go going into WrestleMania. She loses the championship because of a lame ass distraction by Bianca. Okay, fine, shit happens. But this is the follow up from that. Like that's where the disconnect is happening for me. So I feel like if they would have kept Rhea stronger going into this triple threat for the women, then I could 100% be on board more for them putting the women in the main event for night one. Now, jumping off of that, I don't think that Jay and Gunther are at the point where they would have been able to main event night one either, though. When you think about it now, they should be. I'm not saying, even though I feel that way, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. They absolutely should be, because if it's not going to be one of the women's title matches main eventing night one of WrestleMania, then it should be, you would think, process of elimination. Oh, your world heavyweight champion, he's got to be solid, right? He's got to be hot enough to main event night one. And man, like, I don't, it's a weird thing with Jay, right? Like, the popularity and the reaction is still there. Granted, they have been in the European market, and I think that's been a very interesting touch too this year, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember this time last year them being so heavy-handed overseas leading into WrestleMania. I could be wrong on that. I feel like it's going to be almost a month of being over there, and I love it. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love the reaction, like the fans and all that stuff. And I think it's really cool too to see the different areas, and I love the video packages that they put together, just the different makeup of the fans themselves. So I'm totally here for that. But it almost gives us a false sense of, or maybe even WWE, a false sense of assurance and security, right? Like, I don't think if we were in the States, the hype would, I mean, the entrance rather, right, for Jay would still be there, but it's just kind of in a holding pattern and kind of, I don't want to say going stale, because I don't think we're at that point yet, but we're teetering, we're teetering in that realm. And I think that maybe, like, for instance too, like, why not, okay, so Jay, going back to the Rumble, Jay and Charlotte Flair win, right? Cool, fine, whatever. That's who you're gonna have win? Okay. Why do they have to make their declaration so soon? Why can't we drag it out for a while and not even like teasing it, like having them come out and then get interrupted or nothing like that? Just be like, okay, they won. We still have a few months between now and WrestleMania. So, and we still have the Elimination Chamber, right? Once we get through the chamber, then we have 4 people trying to figure out who is going to battle who. And then you could even kind of create like a whole new conflict, right? So let's say you have your Rumble winners, Jay and Charlotte. They win. Cool. Next year, the Rumble winners, they don't make their declarations until after the Elimination Chamber. So we get through the chamber. We obviously know who won the Rumble, so that's not a mystery. We know it's going to be 4 people main eventing WrestleMania at this point, and they just got to pick their people. Once we go through the Elimination Chamber, we'll get those the men's and the women's victors out of those matches as well. So now we have 4 people, for instance, like with this year, we'll just take this year for an example, Bianca and John Cena. So we come out of those 2 PLEs knowing who our key players are for WrestleMania. After that, that's when the whole debate and the battle of who's going to challenge who for the WrestleMania main event begins. And I think that you can even make it like a fun game, right? Like, or even like you could even do a match between like the Elimination Chamber victor and against, like, for instance, like this year you could have done Charlotte Flair versus Bianca, right? Like let's say they win and they both declare to face against Rhea, right? Or they both go out there, maybe the Raw after the Elimination Chamber, and they're both out there kind of getting in Rhea's face just to, because Raw's the first show after the PLE, right? They confront Rhea. Bianca's out there like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna pick you at WrestleMania, da da da. And then Charlotte interrupts, and Charlotte's like, no, like, me and Rhea have history too. Like, I'm gonna battle Rhea, and then Io comes out, because they were gonna have their, if we're going with that, like Rhea was still been the champion, and Io would have had her match against Rhea, blah blah blah. And then you can have Tiffany come out, and then like, don't forget about me, blah blah, and just you can go from there. That way, it saves time. And the same thing for the men's side, right? Like, the men's would have been a little different with obviously Cena turning heel and stuff like that. And it wouldn't even have really been a question. Cena would have gone for Cody still. And you could have had the same outcome, but you wouldn't have had a month of TV that's been eaten up between Jay and Gunther in particular, really kind of doing the same stuff, and now that they introduced Jimmy, that's, an additional, I guess, low layer, but you still wouldn't even have needed to do that because we still have, it's what, March 30th? We still have not a full month, but 3 weeks-ish until WrestleMania. So you could have started all of that TV essentially like 2 weeks ago and then just spread it out a little bit more. So just some thoughts right there, but I think that would have eliminated a lot of, I don't want to say angst against Jay, but speculation on, like, does Jay really deserve the main event spot? Should he have won the Rumble? And at this point, should he even beat Gunther? Which is a whole other story, which we'll get into a little bit later on. Well, not in this show, once you get closer to WrestleMania. But I just think you could have saved yourself some strain there too. So we'll see though, and maybe they'll do that next year. Maybe they'll see this little video here, and they'll be like, "That's a fantastic idea. We're gonna do that." Steal away, man. Steal away. I'm gonna pop in the chat here real quick. You say Cody Cena main event night 2. They only do that to women, and obviously Cody Cena main event night 2 with Cena winning. What if he wins by DQ at Mania? Don't even say that, dude. That'd be fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. Yeah, Fernando. It's funny you say that because I was also thinking too for the Intercontinental Championship, we'll probably get a ladder match or something like that out of it as well, which again is just gonna be another multi-man participant match. Yo, Duran, what up, my friend? What up? What up? How you doing, man? You doing all right? How are you and the fam doing out there? Sigh, what up? What up? You said, hey, you're right. Stop right there. This is an extended European tour. Love the early evening live shows from WWE and Ashley. Hey, what up, man? I was talking about Karen Reed at the beginning of the show, Sai. Because I wanted to, after I watched the ID show, I was thinking about doing like a little stream just to get on here and just word vomit all of my thoughts about that monstrosity that is the Karen Reed case and the sham and the frame job, in my opinion, that is happening up there in Boston. So let me know what you guys think about that. And again, I will obviously keep that as strictly that and not wrestling related because I don't want to waste your guys' time if you're not interested. So just a heads up on that. You say Gunther not losing too many in a row. He character supposed to win big main event matches like that. Yeah, dude, that's a good point. 1 second. Excuse me. A very good point there. And that was kind of what my reasoning for Seth winning as well. The triple threat. I still think Seth should win the triple threat itself. But yeah, dude, I just really think that Seth should win that triple threat match. And it may be unpopular, but and it sucks because of how it may look perception wise coming out of it, but I don't even think Gunther should lose at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Jay should be beating Gunther. So I'm right there with you, E. I'm right there with you, man. I'm kind of nervous that they're at that point with Gunther where they think that he's like a made man, and he can take losses and he'll be fine afterwards. Because if you think about it too, like he lost a good amount of the last few big matches that he's had, besides obviously winning the championship. He lost, the IC championship to Sami Zayn last year at WrestleMania, and then he lost that match against Cody Rhodes at one of the Saudi shows. So I don't know, man. And if he goes into WrestleMania losing this year as well, I don't know how I feel about that. And I hope if they do that, they have a clear plan for him after that. But if not, then shame on them. Shame on them. Sai, you say Karen Reed is your next podcast. Count me in. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Um, is this like a good time for you, Sai? Like around, because I was actually talking about you earlier. I try not to go too late for people like you, and Maddie Maddie MJ is what I call him. He's out in Australia, so I try to do it not too late. But again, you know me, I'm just really random. But I'd love to know your thoughts, Sai, as well. So I want to see if I can do kind of not arrange it around your schedule because I don't want to hold you to it, but like it did. I was thinking like maybe Thursday, like late afternoon, evening ish time, like maybe around this time, maybe like around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. ish. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What up, Abu Saad Khan? I hope I said that correct, man. What up? What up? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you, man. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. So what up, man? Appreciate you popping in here. You said, what do you think about the favor? You say, and perplexed with favor he owes. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I think thank you for bringing that up. I'll put this one back on the screen about the favor. I think it's very telling as well, though, that with how emotional CM Punk was getting, and two, I like also that he was reading through the contract. Like it just, I try to give benefit of the doubt, right? Like I assume that they've already read the contract backstage and they're just coming out into the meeting, right, to make it official, right? And they're actually signing the contract, but they've already read it backstage. That's just what I tell myself. But I liked the fact that Punk was actually thumbing through the contract and reading it, and I loved Roman Reigns, man. It felt so real. He was like, today, Junior, and shit like that. It was funny. I love this version of I love this version of Roman, and that's why I really hope another reason that Seth Rollins wins the match at WrestleMania because I want this to propel even more heat between Reigns and CM Punk. I think that'd be fantastic, and I kind of broke it down again in the last stream, but I love again that Punk was slumming through it, but I love that Heyman specifically told Punk, he was the one that made the announcement that you finally get your dream, you're going to be main eventing WrestleMania. And I love that Reigns was in the back, just like this kid. Like I've been doing this 10 years now, main eventing at least. And I love that Punk, the emotional side, the tears, all that good stuff. I loved everything about it, but I love too that he finished it up with saying, like, "Oh yeah, like that's not the favor that I'm owed," or some shit. Tremendous. And I don't know, man. Like I was on, I really it can't be something like, oh, like Heyman helps Punk beat Reigns in their first one-on-one match against each other. I think that would be like, even if in that situation, if Punk were to be turning, heel after that, I, whenever that match may be, whether that's SummerSlam or Mania next year, I wouldn't like that, man. Like have Punk, and I guess it depends, right? If you want to if Reigns is at this point where he's just like the most beloved and Punk is starting to get boozed, then yeah, you can do that and kind of get like a cheap victory for Punk and kind of go that route. But and that could be the favor. I really don't know, man. But I don't think it's gonna be something as simple as that with all the players involved here. I don't think it's gonna be like, oh yeah, like slide me this chair, like help me win this match, or like, oh yeah, like hit Roman, or like turn on Roman, or anything like that. Like I think it's gonna be a little bit more sophisticated. So I really don't know, man, and that's why I love it so much because I'm really, I'm I was gonna steal your word. I'm really perplexed as well, bro. Really, really perplexed as well. Um, gotcha, E. Gotcha. Yeah, man. So I'll make sure, like I said, to label that stream specifically. So I don't have to waste your time with that. But what up, Billy? What up, man? Appreciate you popping in. You said, "Hello, Ash. I'm so tired of Jay and Gunther fighting," and exactly what I was saying earlier, dude. If they could have just prolonged the whole decision making for WrestleMania, I think we could have all been prevented, right? Like from kind of being tired of the back and forth between them, right? And it's like, all right, like just get on to the match at this point. So right there with you, man. I was sorry to say, what if Paul Heyman pulls in Dwayne as a favorite and present the heat between Rock and Roman and Rock, dude? Huh. And right before one of the shows going into the Elimination Chamber, when we were all still speculating, like, is Cody going to sell his soul, and kind of going through the different scenarios, going through the part when it came to Punk, like, can you imagine? That would just like, I'm conflicted with that because it would truly go against every fiber in CM Punk's being, everything that we know about Punk. So, and it kind of reminds me of when he was leaving Ring of Honor and signing his WWE contract, and he signed the contract like in Ring of Honor on the championship belt. Uh, he didn't completely go like corporate Punk, right? But he was teetering with it. So, man, like, I don't know, man. If that was the case, like, you would really have to connect some dots too with how hated like Punk, like the character of Punk has always been towards The Rock. Now there was some after Raw promo years ago where The Rock had called CM Punk like on his personal cell phone and it went to the voicemail or whatever. There's like some video out there with that. So maybe they squashed it, right? And maybe it was just business related, but man, I don't know. I don't know. So I got you, man. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out, man. Oh, I appreciate that, Abusad. I appreciate that, man. I try. I try. Okay, E. I appreciate you being open, though, man. That's why I love you guys. Y'all are so great. Y'all are just so fucking great, dudes. I appreciate y'all. So, yeah. All right. So, kind of, oh man, it's gonna pour here. It just got super dark outside, so I'll try to not go too long because I don't want to be like midstream and then just lose power on you guys or whatever. But we still got some time though. So getting into the AEW run of CM Punk, okay, and we'll tie that into the Backlash. Kind of wrapping up the Backlash portion of the main of him main eventing and not even him necessarily, but the triple threat main eventing again. Like I get the I don't know, call it anger, but I get where people are coming from with it. But you also have to think too, and it's not on the same level, but the classic example that always comes to mind is The Rock and Hulk Hogan, right? At WrestleMania 18. That was not the main event. Triple H and Chris Jericho was in Toronto. The fans were so emotionally invested in that match, right? And just like to the point where I'm sure some of them probably even went home afterwards, to beat the traffic, especially too. I don't think we're in a situation like that. When you have it on paper, yeah, I mean, three of the biggest names, Punk, Rollins, and especially Roman Reigns. I just I don't I some of the backlash to me, I feel like is kind of forced, like none of you guys are here, like all y'all are cool, but like y'all see those people on Twitter, right? The people who gotta be upset about something just to be upset about it and just to be saying some shit. I think those people are the ones who are just saying shit just to say shit. But people like, like you, Maria, in your opinion, where you thought like the women should main event, I think so too. Like I would have thought so as well. But like, just I think it really just depends on the story. And I would love to say, just a given, your championship should main event. And I think I probably even have said that in the past because to my core, right? Like I do believe that. I do think that your world heavyweight champion should main event because that story should be one of the hottest ones. And again, to be fair, and I feel like talking out of both hands. For instance, if this was a situation where it was like last year with the tag team match with The Rock, yeah, you don't want to be like, okay, well, if it has to be for the championship, then we'll put The Rock in a World Heavyweight Championship match or the WWE Universal Championship match. Like, no, of course not. Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're forcing stuff. But I think too, it's like you, and it's kind of funny because, or ironic rather, CM Punk is finding himself in a situation where he was on the other end of it prior, right? Where The Rock came in, he was the bigger star, he was overshadowing the championship. And that's kind of what's happening this year. And again, like, it's not even like, like no shade on Punk, or Roman or any of them. It's ultimately the Booker's decision, right? Like, they're CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are not booking the WrestleMania card lineup. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even decide who wins their match. Like, come on. So it's not like they're the one that are they advocating it for it behind the scenes. Maybe I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? But I don't get that vibe. You know what I mean? Like, especially from someone like Punk, I feel like he especially knows how the optics are, right? So it's just kind of almost like tongue in cheek and kind of like LOL that he is now finding himself in the main event of night one, overplacing the heavyweight championship match, and he's not in it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a weird conundrum that they found themselves in. So I think it also, before I tie this portion of it up, I think it does play into the perception of WWE right now. And I think their bubble is swelling, and I think it's about to burst soon. Not in the sense of like backlash or negativity against the company or like, people like turning their backs or anything crazy like that. But I feel like the sellout shows, the damn near sellout stadiums, as we're seeing with WrestleMania, I think that hotness, that heat, is going to die down some, because I think they're just being too show offy. I don't know how to say it. They're being too like celebrity, like they're being too. I saw someone. I don't remember the whole thing, but someone compared it to their like UFC. They're being too UFC, like where they haul in all the celebrities who don't care about the product to put them front row and within the first few seats or whatever to get their name out there. They charge astronomical ticket prices and stuff like that, and they're just really focusing on the biggest names and not the best talent. Now, I don't think we're completely there yet, but it does make me nervous. You know what I mean? And that's why, for instance, like in AEW, which we'll get into it here in a second, it's such a shame that they have died down to where they have. Again, I think those accounts and those people who say like AEW is going to go out of business, like, I don't think that's Tony Khan would never let that happen. You know what I mean? Like, even if they like lost their TV deal, like they would get on Amazon, they would get on Max or some shit. Like they'd be fine, And to be fair, like WWE is already moving off of cable TV as well, as we've seen with Netflix and things like that. I think it's only a matter of time for Smackdown to leave USA. So I don't even. Yes, like it would be a loss revenue wise in that regard, but you would just be shifting it, right? You would just be going from getting cable and TV revenue and TV rights deals and stuff like that to streaming rights deals. So, which I think it's at this point in life and where the world and technology is going, it's just better suited that way anyway. I mean, it's fucking crazy though. Like, I can't even tell you. I mean, I cut back on a lot of them, but how many subscriptions you need now to watch it? Like the NFL is insane, insane. There was like I forget what game it was, but I was trying to watch, like, I went, it was like a random Sunday, and I was like, oh, I want to watch, like, just turn on football and just leave it on while I'm doing stuff around the house. I was like, what's, a good channel to turn on game lineup wise? There was literally 5 different platforms that were streaming different games. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I just want to use my antenna. I just want to plug in my little antenna. It's still plugged up right there. I just want to use that little guy and just watch basic TV, So call me old fashioned or not with the times, but that and DVDs, man. I miss simplicity. But again, I say that on one hand, and on the other hand, I get the streaming aspect and where the world is moving to. So, but my whole point with that was I don't think that AEW or I don't think that AEW is. I don't want to say I don't want to think. I know AEW is not going to die, but I wish they would have been in a better position right now than where they are, because if WWE fizzles, I don't want to even say fizzles out, but if they kind of dip down in their popularity a little bit, AEW, if they were still up a couple notches, they could get in there and, again, not take over, because that's never going to happen. No disrespect to AEW or any company. It's just not going to happen against WWE, right? Like, they're wrestling to the average person. Like, you mentioned wrestling and it's WWE. Like, that's all they know, for better or for worse. But AEW had a real chance to really clamp on to that undermarket, and they did for a minute, and they just lost it. So that would be a good segue into CM Punk's debut into AEW and his tenure there, and then his eventual departure. And I'm going to share this person's thread on Twitter because I just think it was fantastic. But this is what I was saying earlier. I don't think I'll be able to play like the clips of the actual show because they have TV clips, so I obviously don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, we'll put that on here now. I do want to just jump in the chat really quick here before I carry on. Just because I like seeing what you guys have to think. Obviously, it's the whole point of being live, right? What up? Happy son, you're funny, bro. You're funny. You think I'm kind of cool? I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you popping in. Oh, the lightning is coming. Bro. Oh, clearly. Oh my god. It's such a fucking setup, dude. Oh my god. I'm trying not to even get into it. But yeah, dude. Yeah, I didn't say much earlier, Sai, so don't even waste your time going back. I didn't say much. I was just chatting that you and I literally had tweeted or, tweeted about it or whatever. We're chatting about it. And that was going to set up a stream, so nothing like that. But what up, baby? What up, what up? You say I'm not a WWE guy, just going to say, hey, I run, so hey, Ash, what up, man? What up, what up? But, and I will timestamp it just for you. I am going to be getting into AEW, obviously, as well here. And our guy, Punk, my guy, Punk. And, baby, I wanted to know your thoughts of what's been going on with Adam Cole lately, man. Let me know your thoughts about Adam Cole. Because it's just sad what they've been doing. Billy, you say, I think WWE is losing me on their storylines. Interesting. It's definitely not as strong as it used to be. Or I'm not going to say that. Like, I think they're just in a weird, like, kind of like, they're like on a treadmill right now when it comes to their time between now and WrestleMania. They're just like running in play. And that's why I feel like next year they could really benefit out of maybe restructuring if they're going to keep having WrestleMania be in the latter part of April. Restructuring how the timeline of the Rumble and the Chamber and stuff like that. Deron, oh sweet. You say me and my mom's Paul Heyman favor for CM Punk 1. Is it CM Punk wants Paul to turn on Roman Reigns to win? Or 2, is it that CM Punk favors for Paul Heyman to wait until the end of the match and turn on Roman Reigns? Yeah, dude, like that's what I'm thinking. Okay, and you have 3. Number 3, maybe join forces with The Rock and Paul Heyman joins with CM Punk with The Rock, John Cena. We don't know until WrestleMania. Yeah, dude, that would be fucking crazy. Talk about a power trio. That would be crazy. That would be fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, there's just there's just so many possibilities, man. And I just hope that if it is something like that, that they add more intricacy to it and not just something as simple as like, oh, Paul turns on Punk. Because like, okay, but I really, if that happens, like I said in my previous stream, Paul really needs to go in depth and kind of take us back to the beginning and like to the beginning of him and Punk's relationship, the Shield, the dissension between that, how Punk didn't even want Roman Reigns to be in part of the Shield, and maybe that portion is safe for Punk to spit out, but just have the comparison between CM Punk being a Paul Heyman guy and how CM Punk treated Paul Heyman as opposed to Paul Heyman being a wise man for Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns not even giving the guy a phone call. You know, when he got powerbombed through that table, Roman didn't even call him. So I think there's just so much with that, right? And Mr. Khan, you say, Kakash, if you clearly saw the footage of last SmackDown, that's how Paul Heyman stands when Punk arrived. That was somehow Goosebumps moment. It gives like something is really cooking by Paul Heyman. Yeah, dude. And there's a clip as well where when Roman Reigns was asking, I'm gonna remove it because I said in the previous stream, like I don't know why now it looks like I'm like drowning. Like, oh, drowning. But I liked how they like there was a part where Reigns was telling Punk to acknowledge him essentially, that Paul was like almost telling him like don't, you know, like because that could be taken to so many different interpretations as well. So there's just so many layers to that though. Exactly, Fernando. In regards to AEW, all wrestling companies go through ups and downs. And again, man, AEW has so many ups. Like, it's natural to have downs. It's just, it sucks because some of the downs could have been prevented, but you live and you learn, bro, you know? Oh, Billy, nice. You said you've been watching AEW. You corrected it right there. AEW on Saturday night. You said you've been watching Collision. Nice, bro. And Fernando, you also say there's plenty of space for more than one wrestling company. The anti AEW fans need to get over themselves. Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's just so comical. Like, y'all, why y'all so much hate, bro? Like, fucking relax. Fucking relax. I saw you say bye bye, Kakash. Today you're one new subscriber. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much, man. I hope you come back. I hope you come back when I'm either doing a live or if I post a video. You leave your comments, man. I'd love to know your thoughts. So I appreciate you popping in, man. So sorry, actually, I taught. Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. All right, so now we will get into. I'm gonna bring up this awesome thread here, and shout out to the Twitter handle is at WrestlingMark16. So shout out to them. I'm going to share their thread here so we can read along. All right, cool. So again, and like I said, they have video clips and stuff here too. So if you want to watch and hear the video clips, definitely, and if you're on Twitter, of course, definitely check out the wrestling or at Wrestling March 16. They're the ones who have the pretty cool thread. And like I said, I kind of skimmed through it, but I wanted to read it with you guys. So I'm going to move my screens here really quick. And then I'll pull your comments up here once I go through everything and kind of see what you guys have to say. So, and this was prompted because, all right, per Wrestling Market, I'm just going to read through it. The Stephanie's Places, and again, Stephanie's Places, Stephanie McMahon, if you haven't heard, has a new ESPN Plus show called Stephanie's Places, where she interviews some of the top wrestling names. Obviously, CM Punk, I think, was even her first one. Undertaker, I believe, is going to be one. She just goes through and talks about wrestling shit. It looked pretty cool, or honestly, so I definitely want to check it out. But I'm just gonna say it was the first one that she did was with CM Punk. And I think there was even a mention that she like completely skipped over his AEW portion, which I mean, come on, like, do you really think Stephanie McMahon is gonna ask CM Punk about his AEW career? No, come on. This is what he references here. So he says the Stephanie's places ESPN Plus piece conveniently and predictably skips over CM Punk's entire AEW tenure. Here's a comprehensive recap of his controversial run and subsequent firing with cause. Love the wording there. Shout out to you, Wrestling Mark. We all remember that graphic though. Y'all. Okay. I'll read the first one and then I'll give you my thoughts on his debut. All right. And again, I'm going to pause that video clip. And I'll post it. I'll go back and post it because I was there on his debut. I found great airfare, great board, lodging, all that good stuff, and was able to fly out there when my guy made his return to wrestling. And that's why another reason why too, like I'll never hate on AEW because they brought him back, man. Regardless, like yes, eventually he most likely would have came back to WWE anyway, but I think it still would have taken probably at least another 3, 4, or 5 years. So if it even happened. So I always have a appreciation for them for that. So shout out to them. And shout out to Tony Khan for doing what he did in that regard. So we start off his eagerly anticipated debut in his hometown in 2021 is met with pure adulation by fans, marking a pivotal moment in AEW's rise as momentum shifted from Vince's erratic and nonsensical WWE. He gave everyone in the crowd ice cream, which was fucking fantastic too, by the way. Just great quality ice cream. His first feud, I saw the rapper too. His first feud and match is with Darby Allin at All Out 2021, a smooth re-entry into the wrestling world, keeping the atmosphere positive and the vibes immaculate. I love this guy's verbiage too. Shout out to him. That's 100% fact though. I remember Darby Allin was up in the rafters after Punk gave, I think it was like 10-minute, 15-minute speech after he returned. And at first I was thinking, wow, it's a really interesting pairing. And it was so smart. Darby Allin was the perfect re-entry opponent for Punk. Size-wise, movement-wise, speed-wise, in-ring style-wise. I think it was so well done. So great pairing there. Off to a great start. Oops. I need to pause that real quick. And then his first proper feud, if you remember. So him and Darby didn't really have a feud. It was just pretty much like a one-off match. His first proper feud is with Eddie Kingston heading into Full Gear 2021. This is the first date of CM Punk back in his comfort zone with some heated promo battles. One, it's fair to say he came out second best in with Eddie letting it rip. I will agree here. Eddie fucking killed him on the mic. Go back and watch that full segment. It was just, again, fantastic. CM Punk called him a bum, I think, which is what Brian Danielson had done in the past as well. And just really playing into that soft spot of Eddie Kingston. And speaking of Eddie Kingston, man, I fucking miss that guy. I can't wait for him to be ready to come back. But moving on, and he says, whilst there are no signs of any discontent yet, his match prior to beating Eddie at Full Gear is the first indication some people aren't happy with Punk, albeit taking Bobby Fish's side over anyone would certainly be a choice. Now, this one is in reference to CM Punk and Bobby Fish. Now, during this time frame, CM Punk was having a few random matches just to kind of get the ring rust off, right? And kind of build up the bumps again, right? As they say. And this match in particular was interesting because again, it was against Bobby Fish on I think a random episode of Dynamite. Again, building and just getting him back in the ring, right? And just hitting the ropes, as they say. But CM Punk hits the GTS on this, and Bobby Fish kicks out at 3.2. It's just really, bro? Really? That one was just kind of baffling to me. Kind of baffling. Of course, we know he ended up being CM Punk, ended up beating Eddie Kingston at Full Gear. No surprise there. Continuing on, and this isn't a full in-depth, it's kind of like an overview of his career in AEW. Need to pause that. This feud, this right here, my guys. I have this shirt as well. This shirt that MJF is wearing. And I'm so happy I got it when I did because a week later, it was off of the AEW page. Oh, Anyway, as the post-pandemic excitement of freedom wears off, AEW's crowds settle into a pattern of 35 to 4,500 for Dynamite. In parentheses, yes, even during their first period boom. In fact, the go-home show to Revolution 2022 at Daly's Place pulled just 1,750, so 1,750 for the excellent segment below. WWE is beginning to pick up steam with the Bloodline storyline at this point. So another reason why I liked this thread was that they kind of like give you an idea of where WWE was as well in this point in wrestling history. This feud was fantastic. I gotta hold on. Pause this next clip. Yeah, okay, that's a follow up with MJF. So actually, I'm gonna go through really quick and pause all these so I don't have to keep stopping in between or risking anything crazy. But in regards to the feud with him and MJF, one of my favorite feuds with Punk, period. And I think probably my favorite feud of MJF's. I really enjoyed his being MJF's feud with Cody Rhodes, rather. I think that they did such a great job with the transition of MJF being like Cody Rhodes. I don't want to say he was never his assistant or anything like that, but almost like his little brother type figure and just kind of being along for the ride and taking advantage of Cody, but Cody can't see it, but everyone else can, and then pulling the trigger on Cody. That was so well done. And these early stages of MJF, I just think that this is what I miss from MJF. And, it's like they say about Kanye. I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old MJF, bro. I miss the old MJF. So I hope we get back to it. This feud, though, was just fucking phenomenal. The match they had at Revolution, just brilliant. The dog collar match, just so brutal. I just loved everything about it. And I love the shirt here. It was MJF. He just had a regular white T-shirt with the picture of him, a young MJF meeting CM Punk at a random meet and greet when he was a kid. Obviously, MJF bloodied him up, took a handprint and wiped it over his shirt, which was just beautifully done. And they made replicas out of it, which I'm so fucking happy I grabbed one, man. It's just so crazy too. Wrestling life is so crazy. But continuing on. His feud with MJF was the undoubted highlight of his time in AEW, albeit a second successive feud he lost on the mic despite being on good form himself. I guess I'll give him that. I don't want to say he lost that maybe he did. What do you guys think? Did MJF beat him on the mic? Maybe he did. Continue. Can you guys hear that thunder? It's getting fucking crazy out there. Lightning and the thunder. MJF was elevated, but despite the Long Islander being the hottest thing in the company by some distance, it was Punk who found his way into a somewhat premature title feud with Hangman Page at Double or Nothing. A slightly underwhelming build was memorable for one thing: some relatively tepid comments made by Hangman that rubbed Punk the wrong way. The cracks were showing. This is obviously a pivotal point in the downfall of CM Punk in AEW. And just look at this visual, guys. Look at this visual right here. Look at Punk in this screen grab. Why did that mouse get so big? Not even screen grab, but on this frozen clip, like this pause clip. He looks so much older. Right here, he looks. Oh, my power may go out, guys. If my power goes out, I love you guys. He looks so much older than what he does right now, and this was 4 years ago. But this was a moment, of course, Hangman brought up the fact that he was defending AEW from CM Punk. He mentioned a line like, "Oh, you say you're for workers' rights and like wrestlers' rights and things like that." And he's, and of course, we all know he was referencing the whole CM Punk Colt Cabana fallout, which is from the podcast that was. Don't have time to get into that because I may lose my power, but that's for a different show. Man, it'd be kind of cool to go back to 2014, go from that podcast and just look at the years of Punk, which maybe we'll do. That'll be a very in-depth show. But this is where, in my opinion, Hangman really ignited a lot of the bullshit. And whether he was intending to or not, I don't think he ever anticipated it getting to be as bad as it ended up being. But I will say too that when it came out that like this is what was the starting point for everything and what really pissed both sides off. I just remember thinking like Punk had the chance to respond. Like why didn't he just respond right then and there? If I'm him and Higman is saying all this shit to me, I'm surprised Punk didn't just like pop off at the mouth too. But I will say props to Punk for keeping it professional, right, in the ring. But to me, like I was just thinking like why are you so angry weeks after the fact? Like you had your chance right then and there to directly respond to it and you didn't. So maybe he was just trying to keep it professional and in that moment and things continued to build behind the scenes and he just exploded then, which obviously but that part always just struck me as a bit odd. Oh, continuing on, a disastrous summer ensued. Punk's title run was cut short by injury. Okay, so he skipped out where Punk ended up beating Hangman Page for the championship. No shocker there. And then continued with his disastrous summer, which, yeah, to say the least, right? Punk's title run was cut short by injury, and the atmosphere and perception of AEW was waning. Whilst by no means washed, Punk was understandably not the same in-ring performer he was a decade ago and was losing out in promo battles, his forte. I think that's a little strong. I don't think he was losing out. I just think that certain people had different or certain mindsets and certain ideas with what they were doing, and Punk just wasn't in that same lane because he was trying to keep it professional until he exploded and until he wasn't professional, to say the very least. Are they not? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so his All Out 2022 return and reclaiming of the title against Jon Moxley was instantly overshadowed by MJF, whose return after 3 months was met with adulation by Punk's hometown Chicago crowd, a treble pop for the heel who had his sights set on Punk's title. And that was very interesting as well because Punk had, just gone through this very weird period where he won the championship, then he lost it to Jon Moxley, and then but it was like an interim champion type thing. It was just like a weird conundrum, right? Fast forward, Punk wins the championship back. He's in Chicago. Everything should be kumbaya. Now we get the devil sighting, which was just terrible for so many reasons, which could have been fucking great, but just another thing that we don't have time for right now because the rain is coming down hard, y'all. It's coming down hard, and a power did flicker. The light flickered once. I don't know if you guys saw it. But this was a very interesting reaction, and this was right before the media scrum that was going to happen, and that's why it was very unfortunate because it really overshadowed MJF's moment as well, which is kind of ironic because MJF overshadowed Wardlow's moment when Wardlow turned on MJF at Revolution, which is, God, Wardlow who? It's fucking sad. Fucking sad. This media scrum fucking tickles me because I still can't believe this shit actually happened. So, a meltdown proceeded on the all-out post-show scrum, followed by a physical altercation with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Regardless of opinions about Punk, the incident was widely regarded as unprofessional, immature, and deeply embarrassing for all parties involved, albeit entertaining as fuck. That last line sealed it, albeit entertaining as fuck. I still can't believe it. Dude was up there at that table, what was it, 18 to 20 minutes, I think? I'm pretty certain it was a long ass time. Sitting right beside the owner of the company. Tony Khan did fuck all to stop it. And I'm just sitting there like, shut him up. As a fan, like as someone who loves the pettiness, right? I was like, okay, and keep going. You said what? Oh, they can't manage a Target? Not even a Walmart or Target? Okay, keep going. I'm listening. You need more muffins? Are you thirsty? I have a ginger ale. Non-alcoholic, right? So that side of me fucking loved it. The side of me that is like, oh my god, and it's like dying on the inside for Tony Khan and AEW. I'm sitting there like, shut him the fuck up. Like, why are you letting him just run down your EVPs, dude? Like, what is wrong with you? Shut him up, dude. Like, be like, okay, like I think thank you for your time, Punk. Thank you for your comments. Grab the mic. We got to go to the back. Do something, dude. You're the fucking owner. That's why, like, I have pity for Tony Khan, but then again, sometimes I don't. So I'm like, bro, like you were right there. It'd be one thing too if like he was sitting in the back and he wasn't there or he wasn't privy to it live or anything like that. You're sitting right beside the dude who's shit talking your EVPs and 3 of the 4 core foundation members of what made your company and what built your company. And he's sitting here running them down. Like, he's not even running them down, dude. Like, he is saying they can't even manage a fucking target. Now, I think that is unfair, though, because it is very hard to manage a target, I would assume. There's a lot that goes involved with that, like inventory, things like that, scheduling. I know I worked at Target for not even a month, and there was over 200 employees. So, imagine that. But apparently, Young Bucks couldn't, right? But the media scrum itself, we'll never truly know what happened, right? So many NDAs, it should be AEW NDA, right? But the fact that, and it could be for the best, right? It could be for the better that we'll never know. It just shouldn't have gotten to that point. While I think it's fucking entertaining, like wrestling Mark does, it shouldn't have happened. Just, can you imagine? I gotta pause this clip. Can you imagine that happening at a WWE press conference, media scrum, with Triple H sitting right there? Punk would have gotten 2 words out, like maybe 2 sentences out to get a full idea of what's happening. That shit would have been cut off real fucking quick. So, of course, after all that happened, after CM Punk lost his mind, ate Mindy's muffins, and then went backstage and defended Larry's honor. Well, I think honestly Kenny Omega did. So shout out to Kenny. But if you guys remember, there was rumors and talk that a chair was thrown, Kenny Omega bit a steel when he was just trying to go in there and save Larry the dog. Just all this shit, right? Just like a catastrophe was happening backstage. There was at one point later on in the scrum where I think Chris Jericho was seen mentioning something to Tony Khan, like he needs to get back there or some shit, which is when the fight was ensuing. But that following week, we were wondering what's going to happen, right? Like something obviously is going to happen. Punk just so happened to have torn his tricep, I think. It was either his tricep or his bicep. So he was automatically going to be out injury wise, which sucks again because he had just won the championship, remember, in the main event in Chicago. The Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks were the trios champions. So what are we going to do there? What ended up happening was there was a suspension. As Wrestling Mark says, a suspension and long-term injury followed, with AEW crowds making their feelings known when the Elite returned from their own suspension at Full Gear. So I think the Elite ended up being suspended for Full Gear would have been what, like November time frame, I think. So maybe was it 6 months? 6 months, something like that. It's not too long, but a decent amount of time. And I can't play the audio because maybe I can. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. I gotta be careful enough with the videos, right? But they just were, I mean, they got the response that you would imagine, right? And I'll hold that because I'm sure it's gonna be brought up here in a second when we get to the end of Punk and AEW. But Tony Khan's insistence on making things work with Punk saw the creation of Collision, a Saturday show to rival Dynamite that would essentially be revolving around him being CM Punk. The crowds outside of Chicago were still not convinced. The 4th episode drew just 2,400 in Saskatchewan, Canada. What a funny word. Or town, city name, right? It feels like it's one of those like made up names and like created like otherworldly, like from like Lord of the Rings type shit towns, or like Harry Potter type shit. And again, to be fair though, the crowds were not doing that well, but it wasn't even a lack of it was a lack of star power in the sense that you didn't know what what you were going to get on that show. It's not like they had okay, Collision is starting. This is the roster that's going to be on Collision. This is who you can expect. This is what's going to happen on Dynamite. Even if you didn't want to do like a hard brand split, like give some type of identity to the show and just come out and say it. Like, don't make us speculate. Like, oh, like it's kind of weird. Like CM Punk's never on Dynamite. Like FTR is never on Dynamite. Malachi Black is never on Dynamite. Thunder Rosa is never on Dynamite. You know, so it's just kind of like one of those things, and that ties into a issue that I have with AEW as a company as a whole is the marketing and the lack of awareness. Like they could really, between that and the merchandise, I just feel like it's two very easy areas that could really be cleaned up and just focused on a little bit more to see great growth, in my opinion. And again, I'm just talking out of my ass here, but it's just my opinion as a fan. Collision was hampered by speculation that CM Punk was having people banned from arenas. Insert Ryan Nemeth, right? At this point, he's rumored to have clashed with a list of people, including Hangman, The Bucks, Bobby Fish, Jon Moxley, Christopher Daniels, Matt Hardy, and Chris Jericho. I don't remember the Matt Hardy part. The show was criticized for its repetitive and creatively uninspired formula, and the ratings plummeted after an encouraging start. And then we have a nice little screen grab here of the viewers. Damn. In 3 months, they lost damn near half their viewership. It's fucking crazy. So on the June 17th, 2023 episode, they had 816,000 viewers. The next week, they dropped damn near 300,000 down to 595,000 viewers. The next week, 452,000. And you can see kind of deviated between that, and then July 22nd they got an uptick to 618,000, followed by 739 a week later, and then plummeted back down to 417, 476, and 482,000 viewers respectively. So not great. Enter almost the end. Oh, my guy Adam Cole. It's just sad what's happened with him. Things were clearly hanging by a thread, and Punk decided to take matters into his own hands, finding the smallest person in the company to pick a fight with on the biggest night in AEW's short history. He is subsequently fired and went back to the place that made him sick in the first place just 3 months later. Now, again, I don't know this individual, Wrestling Mark. I think they did a great job with this thread. I don't know if they don't like CM Punk or whatever. To me, that was kind of a little bit one-sided. I'll reread it. Punk decided to take matters into his own hands. Yes, he did. Finding the smallest person in the company to pick a fight with on the biggest night in AEW's short history. To me, he didn't pick a fight, though. Or maybe he did. Can we watch? I don't think we could watch the video. Yes, he was the physical aggressor, right? In the shit between him and Jack Perry. Jack Perry knew what he was doing, though, man. Like, Jack Perry was just picking and picking at that bear, bro. Just picking and picking and picking. What do you expect? If you're picking and picking and picking at some shit, especially at a bear, that shit's gonna turn around and bite you, bro. I don't care if you think that, it's a well-tamed bear, it's not gonna actually do anything to you, or what the case may be, or, like, it won't actually hurt me. You poke something long enough, it's gonna snap, right? It's gonna turn around. This was the moment that made Nikon fear for his life, though. As you can see right here, I don't know if you can't see my mouse, I don't think, but yeah, you can if I click on the screen. Right here behind these computer monitors where our guy Tony Khan sits. And again, bro, first of all, leading into this, of course, the story between CM Punk and Jack Perry was Jack Perry wanted to do this spot on a limousine and wanted to involve real glass. Okay, Punk was like, bro, in so many words, bro, that's not a good idea, especially with it being a rental car. You have, and I've always wondered this too, like a little inside baseball, like how are they able to destroy all this property, right? Like, are they just buying these vehicles and like outright and then just destroying them? Like how? Like insurance wise, like and reporting wise, like how? Like what? How did like the logistics of it? No one else cares, just how my brain works. But that's where the whole real oh look, real glass cry me of everything, and that's why what happened with Drew McIntyre, CM Punk on Smackdown this past Friday was just so fucking fantastic. Because the glass got, and Drew McIntyre even sent out a tweet saying like, "Oh, the glass got in my eye or something." It was real glass. I can confirm it was real glass got in my eye or some shit like that. Tremendous. But this is the confrontation, and I don't know exactly what words were said. Obviously, Punk did do an interview with Ariel Helwani and spoke about it briefly, but this was the downfall. This was the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to Tony Khan. This is what made him fear for his life and need to cut ways and cut ties with our old friend Mr. Phil, right? And then the Wrestling Mark's last tweet following it up says, "Oops, you know what? Fuck it. I'll play this. If we can't, if we get in trouble, we'll get in trouble." This is the clip of.
I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop.
Can you guys hear the audio?
And then I quit.
If you got a pump a Jungle Boy, chances are you're the problem.
I don't know why that clip was included there. We'll watch this.
Thought I was doing a responsible thing. You know, I didn't punch anybody.
Can y'all hear that audio?
I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop, and then I quit. Thought I was doing a responsible thing. You know, I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop, and then I quit.
It fucking cracks me up, bro, because I don't know if you guys can hear that audio, but he says, I'm gonna play it one more time. I wonder.
Thought I was doing a responsible thing.
So the first thing he said is, I might actually go back and watch the Ariel Helwani interview because he's just fucking. I am a big fan of like deadpan humor, very dry humor, very sarcastic humor, very matter of fact humor. Like you just say shit and keep on going, and like it's like like you have to pick up on it and for it to be funny. I love that shit. And he starts this off, this clip off saying, "I thought I was doing everyone a favor."
You know, thought I was doing a responsible thing.
Or a responsible thing.
You know, I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little.
He says, "I thought I was doing a responsible thing. I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody out."
A little bit.
A little bit.
Samoa Joe was there.
Joe was there.
Told me to stop.
Told me to stop.
And then I quit.
And then I quit.
Thought I was doing a responsible thing.
I thought I was doing a responsible thing. Fucking cracks me up, bro. He knows damn well he was not doing a responsible thing. I don't even care if I get in trouble. If I get in trouble, it's fine. I'll edit it out or whatever. He's so fucking fantastic. But that is the end of the thread that Wrestling Mark did.
The responsible thing.
Oh, it's playing again.
You know.
Again, it's wrestling.
I didn't punch
at
anybody.
Wrestling Mark. All right, Punk, we get it. The last thing he said, oh, sorry, Wrestling Mark 16 is the handle. If you run into an asshole in the morning, you ran into an asshole. If you run into assholes all day, you're the asshole. Very well said. Very well said. Now, there's a brief synopsis of our guy, CM Punk, Mr. Brooks, in AEW, in his downfall. Shortly after that, he was let go from AEW. And Tony Khan went on record because he feared for his life. I mean, you guys saw the clip. I'm scared too. I have secondhand scarement. I have secondhand fear over here. So I couldn't watch it so many times. It almost choked him out. Ridiculous. But no, in all seriousness, though, it is a shame with how it happened. I think CM Punk could have done wonders for AEW over time, especially, but when you really do break it down, and I don't want to say rumors, but the stuff that you hear, right, with the lack of management and also what what Punk said as well, just getting to the venue in London was a shit show, right? Like he had no transportation. He had to pretty much figure it out on his own, which fine. It's not the end of the world. He obviously got there. But it's like, this is your biggest star, your biggest talent. at that point in your company, right? You're not gonna make sure the dude has transportation, if for nothing else, because there's fucking crazy people out there, dude. He's in a different country, and I mean, it's fucking UK, like it's not that bad, right? But still, what if that was his first time over there, right? Like, what if he had never been to London, which of course he had, or to the UK? Like, what if he had never been over there, right? He could have gotten lost. If it was me, I'd still be trying to find that tube, right? Like that's what's called over there. I'd still be trying to find the tube. I'd still be probably making loops around. You know what I mean? It's just not a good look. Not a good look. You should make sure all of your talent is taken care of, but especially your big talent, man. Like your big names, like that's just where I'm like, okay. And again, it's not like it's not nothing for Punk to be like extremely hot-headed about and like throwing over monitors or shit, but it's an accumulation of things. And Tony Khan, I'm sorry, man, he should have known to keep Jack Perry away from CM Punk, bro. Like, there's no reason the paths should be crossing. Just like he kept Hangman Page away, the Bucks were away. He created a collision for Punk to keep this border and this separation between these parties who can't get along. How does that happen? How does that happen? That's my thing. So again, to be fair, Punk knew what he was doing. Punk, I believe, was truly at the point, even before he came back to and had the collision show, I truly believe he just wanted to be out. And he was just looking for an out at this point. And I think the whole choking Jack Perry thing and putting him in a chokehold, not even a chokehold, but like a, like a headlock type shit, that was just to get him done, to get him out. You know what I mean? He was probably, in my opinion, just like, fuck it. I'm going to do what I got to do to be out. I'll take whatever payment penalty, whatever if I have to pay to get out, since, like I was quote unquote physical or anything like that. Like we don't know how the contract terms work, but if I was Punk at that point, and we know Punk is very good with his money, like we've seen, I don't know if you guys watched that Best in the World CM Punk documentary WWE did years ago. God, 11, 12 years ago at this point. Punk is very frugal, right? Like he doesn't blow his money on stuff like that, and he obviously had ventures. Not he did get a nice payday from the UFC though, but like he's the comics and stuff like that. Like he's had outside ventures, so dude's fine financially, right? And I'm sure he got a nice chunk of guaranteed money from that AEW contract itself, and then probably the merch money alone was just fucking insane, and he could live off of. So between all that, he was probably like, look, if I got to pay 2-3 mil to get out of this contract, which I'm sure wasn't even that high, I'll do what I got to do. But I think, because Punk is one of those guys too, obviously, if you know what happened with him leaving WWE and all that, he stands for what he believes in. And if he ain't happy, bro, he ain't going to sugarcoat shit. So another reason why I respect the fuck out of him. Even if he ain't right, he stands by it. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be wrapping up here soon. I appreciate you all for popping in with me on a Sunday evening. And check out your comments here before we dip out. Oh, Fernando, I forget you're here in Orlando, dude. I forget you're here in Orlando. It is dark as hell out here. It looks like it's passing over. It's starting to get a little bright out. But yeah, dude. Yeah, baby. They can never stay away. Welcome back, my friend. I'm right there with you, man. Fernando, you say, I think Punk went out of AEW when Vince got fired and started trying to get Triple H. I think that was a sign. He was just like, fuck it, man. Like, I want to get back. But I forgot to mention it earlier with his comment with the whole, you'll be like night 4 on the buy one, get 4 free dealer extravaganza or whatever. Like, he's just talking shit about a different regime, in my opinion. As we all have, And I agree, man. Fernando, you say what Hangman said was not something for Punk to get that upset about. It wasn't. It wasn't. But I mean, also too, like, what was even the point? What was even the point of Hangman going into business for himself and saying that shit, as they have phrased it? Not my words, what other people have said. I don't even see why it was needed, to be honest. And Tony is that's the vibe that I get. He just wants to make everyone happy, and that it's a blessing and a curse, man. Blessing and a curse. Dude, what up, Nick? What up, bro? He said that scrum was wild. I go back to watch it every few months. It's entertaining as fuck. It is, dude. It so is. It so is. Baby, you say, that was so funny that you bring up the famous CM Punk media scrum because I quote a line every day at work, and that would be, I work with fucking children, bro. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh. And Maria, he was very disrespectful to Tony Khan. Very disrespectful. But that's why, like, Tony should have shut his shit down right there and be like, ain't happening. You are not acting like that. Ain't happening. And this right here, man. As disrespectful as he was, Tony could have made good money making it into a feud for TV. I still think however this would have happened, if this did happen in WWE, they would have found a way to monetize this and make it into a feud. The fact that they were just so against it, they being the Young Bucks, because Kenny Omega has even gone and we're going to say he wanted to work with Punk, and he would have figured out a way to make it professional. It was just the Bucks. Just the Bucks. And I think that's a fucking shame, in my opinion. You say you like Kevin Smith, make great content, and when doing a pod, every time you say it's going to be... you say it's going to be short, the pod is long. The pod is long, not a complaint, have no problems with time length, just an observation. I have said that myself, dude. I have fucking said that myself. Not like Kevin Smith. I think that's a great compliment. But a very great compliment. Thank you. That's why I try not to say shit, but I also I try to set the scene, right? Like, I mean, maybe I should just shut up. But I try to not be on here so long and taking up so much of your guys' time, but then I can't shut up. So here I am. And I didn't think, honestly, I was going to go this long. And the stream I did the other day, I think it was like 40 some minutes or something. Because my throat was getting to me, man. So I didn't think it was like I was going to be able to go that long. But here we are, almost an hour and 40 minutes into it. So here we are. Okay, Duran, you could hear it. Cool. Baby, you agree. Yeah, bro. Here I am. Y'all are funny. Duran, you say Stephanie's places. Oh my god, I love the first one. Can't wait for the rest of the series. Yeah, dude. It's fucking great. Fucking great. And E, you say, anyone know if Raw has a special start time again tomorrow? It's a very good question. Let's see if I can find that out for you guys. And then we will be wrapping it up here. I appreciate you guys again for popping on, man. Okay, cool. So, if this is to be believed, it says the WWE's European tour draws to a close with the historic WWE Raw London show. I don't know if that's right. It says a day ago. Okay, yeah. I'm pulling up the preview here. Okay, yeah. So, pull it up and share it here with you guys. Alright, I'm just trying to close all these pop-ups so it doesn't fucking... Jesus. Alright, cool. Yeah, they were in Smackdown, that's right. That's why I almost didn't think it was accurate at first. But there's our gals. Bianca, she's like, I don't know how to be a referee. Alright, so the WWE's European tour draws to a close with the historic WWE Raw London show from the O2 in the UK's capital. WWE Raw streams live. Here we go. Streams live at a special start time of 3 p.m., 12 p.m. Pacific time. So 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Netflix. So we do have a early start time, and that looks to be the last one, E. So FYI on that, my friend. WWE Raw will decide who headlines WrestleMania 41 with the Women's World Championship on the line. Those set to compete in the Men's Undisputed WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania will also be in the O2. Never has a UK edition of WWE Raw had so much significance, blah, blah, blah. Okay. WWE Raw London match card. John Cena and Cody Rhodes face-to-face, which again, this is the last advertised appearance that we have for Cena on the road to Mania, so I hope they add another show because that would just be fucking crazy, and I'll have something to say about that if that's the case. Then we have Gunther versus Jimmy Uso. Of course, Jimmy is fighting for Jay's honor. Braun Breaker and Penta versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, which I think that's going to be a very fun match. Very fun match. And I'm curious to see if it sets up a one-on-one match between Finn and Dominic at Mania, if we finally get that breakup, that dissension there, or what. So we'll see about that. The New Day, quote unquote, versus a mystery team. And then the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, Bianca Belair as a special guest referee. And then it goes on with a brief history here for the Women's World Championship. Ripley will get a chance to earn her way into the Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania 41. Ripley has been given one final dice roll to win big and headline Vegas, but she's not headlining. Ripley lost the title to Io Sky a few weeks back, but when the new champion and Rumble winner Bianca Belair looked to sign their championship contract, Rhea knocked both women out and signed her name instead. Well, in addition to. WWE Raw GM Adam Pearce decided a title shot now would be the fairest way to sort out the mess. Yeah, because that makes sense, right? Excuse me. The WrestleMania 41 challenger, rather, Belair will have a hand in who she faces, as she has been assigned the role of special guest referee for the match, which again made no fucking sense either. Like, okay, clearly you'll have some biasy. Let's put you right in the middle of it. And then it just goes on to talk about J&J, which we already know. John Cena makes his final scheduled performance before WrestleMania 41. Something tells me we will see him stateside before they face off against each other at WrestleMania on April 20th, is what they pretty much said there. I added a whole bunch there. Something also tells me we need to see the final boss, The Rock, to really heat things up before the match. And then just going into a bit of speculation there, which, I don't know, man. Like, we need to see The Rock, or at least we need Cena to reference why he aligned with The Rock and why he went that path. And yeah, like, he hates us as fans. He broke up with us. Okay, cool. But what does that have to do with wanting to turn on Cody and to really go in depth to screw Cody, right? Like, okay, you hate us, but like, why? What does that have to do with The Rock? Like, you already had millions of followers, millions of dollars, a great career in Hollywood. Like, what does that have? Like, that part we still don't know. We still don't know like his relationship with The Rock, especially with their history, right? So they really need to clean all that up, and they really need to focus and zero in Cena's hatred and on Cody and tie that in. So I hope we get that tomorrow night on Raw, or tomorrow afternoon on Raw. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your time, all your comments. I appreciate everyone. I can't name everyone because I'll forget someone, but I appreciate all you guys. And I will keep you guys at least up to date on that Karen Reed stream because I have so much to get off my chest with that. I might watch that ID show tonight to kind of go for that and kind of use that as a time for myself, depending on the layout of that show. But I appreciate you all for joining me in for this wrestling show. Oh yes, baby, you are right. You said I minimized it. Where to go? Come back. You said you can't go yet. You said you want to talk about Adam Cole. I do want to talk about Adam Cole, just for you. But baby, what are your thoughts on Adam Cole? Because I think it has been a complete tragedy what they have done. Travesty what they have done with Adam Cole. He is just, it really stood out to me. God, what was it? Was it the Roderick Strong match? Or it may have been a tag match with Roddy and starting to break up a bit with Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly. They did all the talking, which is fine, but they left Adam Cole as to just be the guy just to get in the last word, right? They was just like, and that's undisputed. And that's all he said. And I'm like, really? This is fucking Adam Cole. Like, how are you going to have this guy regulate it first to your B show, which, okay, fine, like you could use it as an excuse to, you want to use his quote unquote star power, whatever is left, to amplify Collision and to propel Collision. Okay, cool. You're not doing that though. You're not spotlighting him. He's not even the focal point in his group anymore. They're not going after the trios titles. Like, they're not really doing anything. It's a complete waste to me. Like, yes, like, I'm so happy he's away from MJF. I don't want him to have anything to do with MJF. Go after the TNT title, bro. Like, I know he had a match against Daniel Garcia, so I know they did entertain that. It just feels so second nature, so afterthought. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh yeah, we have Adam Cole here. Like, we should probably do something with him, and that is complete waste. It's just very perplexing to me, that word from earlier, our keyword for the day, that you have a talent like Adam Cole and he's just really falling to the wasteland. And again, man, I don't know if it's something personal that's going on with him, that he can only, like, he's limited scheduling wise or limited in-ring wise what he can do or anything like that. And if that's the case, then fair enough. But I would almost say if that's the case, then don't put him on TV. And we know that's not the case because he was just wrestling a match. So I don't know, man. It's very disappointing, the trajectory of how his career has shaped out to be. When he first came into AEW, bro, I forgot my dog was back there. When he first came into AEW, I was like, bro, let's fucking go. Like, he is going to take over. Like, not right away, but when he came in and he started immediately doing, like, it was like that Ninja Turtle thing. They came out in like those outfits or whatever. I was like, okay, like, this is what you want to do? Like, fine, like, get this out of your system. And then kind of like the Miro thing, like, get this fun stuff out of your system, like what Miro did with like the video games and stuff. Like, okay, cool. Like, that's your passion. That's what you want to do. Oh, or that's what you, like, at least want to start off with. Like, okay, fine. But that's where tying into what was said earlier too about Tony Khan being too nice. Like, put your foot down, bro. Be like, no, like, you're fucking Adam Cole, dude. Like, yeah, like, you like video games and Ninja Turtles and stuff, but like, no, like, you're coming in, you are going to be a crusader, bro. Like, you are going to come in here and show that size doesn't matter, your build doesn't matter. It's about what you bring to the table verbally and in the ring. So the fact that, and of course, like, injuries are, you can't blame anyone on that, right? Unless it was like a dumbass thing. But even that wasn't the case. It was a freak accident. And then a concussion, right? So, like, that's just something that could not have been prevented. So I'll never fault a company for something like that. But the follow-up, the shit that they did with MJF afterwards, like, MJF is just now coming out of, like, this stuff with MVP is really helping MJF out. But my goodness, man, like, they just had to go back to that double shit when he first came back. And I feel like whatever potential recovery Adam Cole could have had, they tanked it with that rehashing of the devil shit after his return. And now he's just been regulated to Collision. And again, like, I know he went through some shit with Britt Baker, but you can't even use that as an excuse because it's not like Britt is on Dynamite, right? Every week she's not even on TV, which I know is completely not related to each other, but it's just like, that's not even a factor unless there's something else that we don't know, which it doesn't appear to be between him and Britt, like, preventing him from being on Dynamite, which obviously not. So there's literally no excuse that I can come up with to prevent him from being on Dynamite, prevent him from being, I don't want to say respected, but from utilized properly. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that he should even be in the main event, battling Moxley or anything like that. But he could have been in, like, a Jay White position, right? Like, he could have been that one teaming with Adam Copeland or just being involved. And he's just not. And to me, there's no excuse for that. If the dude is back and he's healthy and you have him on Collision, why don't you have him on Dynamite? So, I don't know, man. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. You said W shame. I appreciate that. Baby, you said Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano was the main reason that I decided to start watching wrestling again, and that was during the Black and Gold. Yes, dude. Yes, dude. I'll see if I can grab it really quick. 1 second. I don't know if this is the exact match you were talking about, baby, but check out this shirt. I was there when they were their NXT Brooklyn. If I can get it. For their 2 out of 3 falls match in New York. Look at this throwback though, bro. Right? Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano is the best 2 out of 3. Obviously for the NXT Championship. 2 out of 3 falls match. Look at this card though. Hold it up a little bit better. We had Velveteen Dream facing off against Matt Riddle. Pete Dunne versus, trying to get it so I can still be in the mic. Pete Dunne versus Gunther. Just look at Gunther, y'all. Look at the size difference between Gunther in 2019 compared to now. Crazy. And then we had the women's, talk about Bianca and Io Sky, right? We have Bianca. It was a 4-way match. We had Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. And then the tag match, Ricochet. We had the tag match with Ricochet and Aleister Black facing off against the War Raiders. Talk about a fantastic card, bro. Fantastic card. Oh, I was so lucky to be there for that. But dude, yeah, man. But going through more of your comments, baby, you said it's very sad what has happened to Adam. Is it just me or does he seem, dude, literally sad? That's what I said. God, it was a couple of streams ago. I don't even remember which one. Like when I was legit concerned for him personally, I was like, bro, like, I just like, I feel sad for him. Like, I really feel like mentally something's going on with him, or just like, I don't know, like something's just not right, you know. And I legitimately feel sad for him as a human being. So I hope he's okay. But no, man, that undisputed era magic was just special. And Nick, you say, I see Cole going back to WWE once contract's up. For sure, dude, for sure. But I think he still has a long time. I think he still has like another 2 or 3 years, if not longer. And Duran, you said, what year was that T-shirt that you were showing? Oh my god, I love the shirt. It was 2019. My goodness. Okay, yeah, 2019, bro. Yep. Oh, cool. Oh, wow, I think it was 2019. How cool you were there. My now ex watched it with me, and she was like, "This is wrestling now," and became a fan that day. Right on, dude. Well, I'm sorry she's an ex now, unless you broke it off with her. Then good. But yeah, dude. It was because that was obviously the year for WrestleMania 35, so I was able to get a really I was really lucky to get a package deal where it included everything. Like my it was 4 shows. It was the SmackDown included? Yeah, it was SmackDown. No, I think I purchased SmackDown. Yeah. So I got the WWE Hall of Fame, and that was the year where the fan entered the ring and attacked Bret Hart, which is fucking crazy. I was so pissed. I was recording, and I literally looked away the second before they started fucking with Bret, which was just so wild to see. But I was there for the Hall of Fame, and then I bought my SmackDown ticket, but the SmackDown was for the Mania after. I got in the bundle, I had the NXT TakeOver ticket, of course, WrestleMania ticket, which was still one night at that time, and then the Raw after Mania, which that Raw after Mania that year wasn't that great, not like it has been, but it included all those 4 tickets and included a special like sit down, like it was, I forget, it was like a access, like I forget the titling, but it was pretty much like they were picking our brains, like to ask us questions about like the package experience and like what they can do to change it. And they fucking randomly brought in Mark Henry. Like we're all sitting there, was like 10 or 15 of us sitting at like this table in like this conference room at the hotel. Beautiful hotel right there, like literally on Manhattan Street. And they were like, hey, we have a surprise guest for you guys. You mind if he interrupts? And we're just like sitting there like, whatever. Fucking Mark Henry walks in and he sits down right beside me. Nicest dude. Crazy as shit. In there for like 15, 20 minutes with us, took pictures with us and everything. So yeah, so that was included as well. And the hotel room was included. Literally, I just had to buy my plane ticket there, which is great. So if you guys are able to, I mean, now, again, this was 6 years ago now. It's insane. Like the price for one ticket now is the price for what I paid for that package. Hold on a second. Yo. I don't know if you guys heard that shit. I tried to mute my that's crazy. I'll have to go back and watch that. I muted the button on the screen, which I don't know if it muted my mic or not, because I was trying to not sneeze in you guys' ear, and I just fucking knocked everything over. That was hilarious. I killed myself. I don't want to say that though. I cracked myself up. Oh man. But yeah, so that's my thoughts about Adam Cole for you, baby. It's sad. But the shirt I'm wearing right now is for Brody Lee. The remembering of Brody Lee when he passed away. R.I.P. Again, tying it in, I met him at the Access for that WrestleMania that year. One of the nicest guys ever. Literally took time, and I was trying to brush through to be mindful of his time. He slowed me down. He was like, "What match are you most looking forward to?" And I was wearing a Becky Lynch shirt. He was like, "Oh," like, or he was like, before he saw my shirt, he was like, "Welcome," and I had my knee brace on and everything. I was like, "Come on, hobble over." He was like, "What match are you here for?" And then he saw my shirt. And he was like, "Oh, Becky." He's like, "I'm so excited for that match too." Just a ball of positivity, man. R.I.P. to him. Yeah, Fernando, the sun is coming back up. It is coming back. I forget you're here in Orlando, bro. That's so crazy. But yes, we will be wrapping it up here, though. My friends, I appreciate it all. Oh, I appreciate that, baby. I'm not going to put that on the screen. But I appreciate that, man. You say never think, I'll mention the last one, never think that your long shows are a nuisance because no one forces us to watch this, and I love it. Oh, well, I appreciate that, bro. I really do. And your comment that you left earlier, or on previous show that I did, I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, man. And Fernando, we'll wrap up with you, my friend. Do we know how Brody Lee's son is doing? I heard he was training to be a wrestler. Yeah, so I saw a post that Amanda, his the mother obviously of little Brody Lee, the son of Brody Lee, the wrestler. He did sign some type of deal or something with AEW. Just like some like not feel good, but like some type of like deal. I'm obviously don't know the specifics, but Tony Khan's looking out for them, and I know Amanda works with AEW in some capacity backstage. I think he's probably what 10 by now. Little Brody Junior, I guess I'll call him -1, right? I don't think he's old enough to like actually train yet, but I have seen like some pictures of him like fooling around, like doing wrestling moves and like fucking around with the wrestlers and stuff. So I don't know if he's had any like professional training yet, but I don't know if you guys remember Izzy, that when Bailey was in NXT and that little girl that loved Bailey like her biggest fan. She's like, I think she's 18 now or about to turn 18, and she's been training since she was like 13 or 14. So that seems to be around the age where if you can find like a legit promotion, you can kind of start dabbling into. And just hope the parents are taking care of them, right? Which it seems that, especially Izzy's parents and of course Amanda, obviously she's in little Brody Jr.'s in perfect hands. So I hope so. And because she was on Twitter looking for some matches from when Brody Lee was in Japan and some of his matches over there. So yeah, but and yeah, dude, no, because again, you say as much as we joke about Tony Khan, I love the support he's shown to Brody Lee's family, and that is what actually brought CM Punk into AEW. One of the main things was the sincerity and the rap that they kept on Brody Lee's medical issues, right? And what was going on with him, I guess, like personally and like medically, and, you know, like the medical condition that he was going through, that stuff did not leak. And it was just like, we were just like, where's Brody, you know? And that keeping like how many people knew and keeping that in wraps was what really impressed CM Punk as well. Oh, sweet. Thanks, baby. You say -1 was 8 years old in December of 2020 when his contract was signed, according to our article I just looked up. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there we go. Right on. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So okay, yeah. So he was 8, and that was what, 5 years ago, 5-ish years ago. So he's okay, so he's about 13 now. 13, 14, depending on, you know, the month or whatever. So maybe he is. Maybe he is getting into the ring and really pursuing that. I think it's only a matter of time, right? You could tell that the wrestling blood is in that kid. You know what I mean? And I think it's gonna be such a cool story to see him and such a cool like full circle moment for him. And I think it's really cool that they made him an action figure, and that action figure set with him and his father was just so beautiful. So stuff like that, man. And that's why like you'll never hear me really shit talk AEW or Tony Khan. Like I'll have what I think and hope is constructive criticism, but like I'll never wish for their demise or anything like that, like some like creators I guess do or anything, because first of all that's just not my bag, but second of all like it's just they've done so much greatness for the wrestling industry. So it's growing pains is what I chalk a lot of it to be. So baby, you say I guess -1 will have to stop showing up on WWE with Cody now, right? Facts. But yes, so and yeah, thanks baby for that insight and that info. I appreciate that. But with that being said, guys, we will wrap up here. Like I mentioned earlier, this stream wasn't gonna be long at all, and we're 2 hours later. So, like I say all the time, I appreciate you guys so much for popping in here. Again, like Bebe said, like you guys don't have to be here, but y'all choose to be. So it means a lot to me. It really does. Just y'all support, y'all being in here and just interacting with the channel and giving me your thoughts. That's what we're here for. I love having like a little community here because I hope you guys feel safe to come in and chat and give your thoughts. So I appreciate that. Whatever you guys have going on in the real world, at least you can pop in, escape for maybe 2 hours. You know, so until next time, my friends, it's gonna be a crazy week coming up. Tomorrow's Raw, I feel like it's gonna be a big one. Or maybe not a big one, but I feel like we're gonna get a good development in the whole Cena Cody aspect of it. I don't think we'll get The Rock. I'd be surprised if we got The Rock, but I think we'll get a big development. So until next time, guys, stay safe out there and enjoy some wrestling. Take care.